Saranac Lake. You've seen a lot of videos on this channel of me enjoying that area, and I figured it made sense to go over my top 5 things to do while you're visiting that area. You've seen me spend a lot of time in this Saranac Lake area. In fact, we go up there every year for our annual Guys Weekend, and I typically make several trips out during the summer to enjoy hiking out there as well. So I thought with all that in mind, I'd finally make a video about the top 5 things you've got to do if you're in the Saranac Lake area. Coming in at number 5, just enjoy that area and enjoy the vibe. There are a lot of cool things to do, which I'm going to get into, but the thing I love about Saranac Lake is just the people there. They're down to earth, they're willing to joke around, they're there to have a good time. And they're frankly always happy to see you. Every year when we go back, and again, we go back once or twice a year, the bartenders know who we are. Now you could say that's a bad thing, you could say it's a good thing, but the reality is, after only a few years, we feel like a local going back, which is a very hard thing to capture in a small town. I'm very thankful for it. You've also got, in the winter, they do their winter carnival, which is at least a week-long celebration where they have carnivals, they've got parades, they've got specials at the local eateries. It's really worth checking out, and they actually do an amazing ice castle right along the shores of the lake there in Saranac Lake. So I heavily recommend checking that out. And in the summer, there's an amazing farmer's market right in that same park. So number 5, just the vibe. Number 4, bars and restaurants. Now, I don't say this lightly. I travel a lot for work. I get to see a lot of places. I get to go to a lot of fancy dinners for my day job. And a lot of my sites are in remote areas, and I eat at a lot of gas stations and a lot of pubs. And I will say that one of my top 5 bars in the entire country is in Saranac Lake, and that place is called Grizzle Teas. Why do I like it so much? Amazing beer selection, friendly staff. There's an eatery that's attached to it that is phenomenal for smash burgers, wings, chicken sandwiches. Actually, I've never had anything bad there. So definitely to check that out. If beer is your thing, River Trail Brew Works is also a new establishment in Saranac Lake worth checking out. And there are a number of breweries in town and also a nearby Lake Placid that are definitely worth checking out. Number 3, all of the Olympic stuff. So Saranac Lake is maybe 15, 20 minutes away from Lake Placid. And if you're staying in Saranac Lake, you might as well make the drive over. In 1932 and 1980, that area hosted the Winter Olympics. And in fact, there are still portions of the US team that train in Lake Placid. You've got the bobsled and luge run. We actually went out 2 years ago and watched a US Cup race there, which was phenomenal. Same location, 3 years ago, we actually watched a World Championship biathlon race where they cross-country ski and then shoot the rifles at the targets. That was amazing. Moving closer to town, the ski jumps are still there and they're still active. You can watch jumpers go off if you time the events right, and that's pretty phenomenal to watch, including they have a 120-meter jump, which is huge. And in town, they have the speed skating rink, they've got where they did the ceremonies, but then they've also got the Miracle on Ice arena, which is really cool and really worth checking out. In fact, we time our Guys Weekend every year so that we can be there for one of the college national championships. In recent years, that's been the Ivy League. Prior to that, it was like Division III, but it's always a good time. And I will say it's gotten busier and busier every year. This year, they weren't sold out, but we actually had to sit like in the upper section, which we've never had to do. When we first started going, you kind of walk down and sit wherever you wanted, but it's getting busier and busier. Number 2, explore at the Adirondack State Park. When you're in Saranac Lake, you are pretty much in the center of Adirondack State Park. Now, you're not exactly in the middle, but you're centrally located. And you can go explore a lot of the park from there. You can go north, you can go south, you can go west, you can go east. It is a huge park. Established in 1892, it makes up 6 million acres. And in that 6 million acres, there's 46 high peaks. So that's peaks above 4,000 feet. You've got roughly 3,000 lakes and ponds, and more than 30,000 miles of rivers. Add to that, there are more than 2,000 species of plants in the park, and you've got tons of wildlife. You've got moose, bear, deer, rabbits. You've got a lot of biodiversity that you can just get out and see without much effort. And the number 1 reason to go to Saranac Lake is to explore the outdoors. No matter your favorite season, there is something for you to do in and around Saranac Lake. In the summer, hiking. I mentioned the 4,000 footers that are there, but there are also a lot of other really great mountains that are under that. In fact, you'll remember an earlier video where we completed the Saranac 6. That's 6 mountains in and around Saranac Lake that when you complete it, there's actually a bell in Saranac Lake that you go and ring, and then you send away and you get a patch. In fact, you get this badge. The biking is also phenomenal. Whether you're into mountain biking or trail riding, there's actually a rail trail from Saranac to Lake Placid, so you can get mile after mile of that. And in the summer, paddling is a major sport for that area. The Northern Forest Canoe Trail goes right through Saranac Lake, and you can rent kayaks, canoes, all that right there in Saranac and go have yourself an adventure. In the winter, you've got skiing. You've got ice hockey games to go to. You've got ice fishing, snow machining. There is just a ton to do in Saranac Lake. That's my complete list of the 5 things you gotta check out when you're in Saranac Lake. If you know the area, what did I miss? What should I have put on the list? If you wanna see one of those adventures where we went to Saranac Lake and had a great time, you can click here. Otherwise, I'll see you next time.